Derick Giwner along with Matt Rose here for another edition of the Harness Spotlight, where this week we're going to talk about the $1 million Yonkers International Trot on Saturday, October 12th at Yonkers Raceway. It's a great weekend of racing action. Hoosier Park on Friday night has their Super Finals, Sire Stakes Finals, and on Saturday night you can go over to Woodbine Mohawk Park and they have their Ontario Sire Stakes Finals, the Gold Division. I think they go for about $270,000 up there. But we're going to look at Yonkers Raceway. It's race number 7 on Saturday, the $1 million International, and we have a nice field here of horses from all over the world.
Well, they got their 10 horses from, I believe, nine countries represented. We have a horse from Denmark, France, Switzerland, Italy, Norway, Germany, Sweden, U.S., Canada. Part of the intrigue of this race is we don't know a heck of a lot about some of these horses, and obviously there's much more information that's available now, videos and such that were in the past, but still, I mean, it's a bit of a mystery, and it should make for an entertaining betting affair and an entertaining viewing affair like it is year after year after year.
One nice bonus is that Brandon Valvo from the SAO of New York compiles all these lines, so we actually have past performances to look at from these foreign horses, because otherwise, in the past, we'd have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, in years past, we would have big notable names in the Roosevelt International and then the Yonkers International, big worldwide names or returning horses that people knew or associated with them, but. Yeah, we have a quite a mixed bag of horses here. A couple returning from that race in the past. Mariano De Noche, the upset winner last year. Lionel competed last year and just missed. Slide So Easy's in this race. Marion Marauder's back. So it makes for an interesting affair, and obviously there's two ways to look at this. The horses you know and familiar with, like Atlanta, Guardian Angel, Mariano De Noche, Marion Marauder, or try to do your homework and figure out some sort of international import that you might like. Well,
let's start at the beginning. The 3-1 morning line favorite is the 3 Atlanta, and that's obviously a hometown horse that we all know here. She won the Hambletonian last year. She's already won 7 of 11 this year. And here's my interesting tidbit as far as Atlanta goes. I think if you look at the pools here are going to be, the win and the show pools are going to be commingled, right? I think if you look at the win pool, I honestly don't know if she's going to be the favorite or not, but I feel really strongly she's going to be the favorite in the exactas and trifecta pool.
Well, yeah, the win and the show pools are commingled with Europe, as are I believe 3 of the other races on the Yonkers Saturday card. So you're going to be looking at big 6-figure win pools, and in years past, a couple of wise guy or quote smart horses have opened up with a ton of early money. And the money kind of held up and was for the most part was correct.
I'm just saying, but because the exacta and trifecta pools are here in the U.S., there's a pretty good chance that Atlanta's going to be a reasonably heavy favorite. And maybe she's not going to be super heavy, but she'll be a favorite in those pools. Okay. If you're going to play Atlanta, right, and she could certainly win this race. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that maybe the win pool would be the best place to play her if you're in the U.S.?
Well, yeah, obviously, because a big chunk of this money is going to come from overseas. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of U.S. or North American interest. But, you're going to have all these countries in Europe where these horses are represented with money pouring in on their heroes, so to speak. Or like I said, in a couple of years past, smart money, which sometimes worked out, sometimes didn't work out. But, listen, Atlanta's listed as a morning line favorite. I guess the familiarity aspect of it leads her to be the favorite, and I don't know where you're going, but not to give away anything, but I may be heading in her direction.
Why don't we take a look at a few of the contenders in here from out of town, and one of them is the 5, Zacon Gio, who's really the mystery horse, of the group, because he's racing in Italy. We're going to take a look at his win, where he won by looks like 9 lengths last time, and he just blew away the competition. He's 8 for 8 this year. What do we make of this horse?
What we didn't see earlier in this race is kind of a 2-move effort where he brushed the lead and just crushed these 8 for 8 on the year, 20 for 29 lifetime. Again, we don't know the mile rates that were very nicely compiled by Brandon Valvo from the SOA specify that he certainly looks fast enough.
We don't know if those are slow tracks, those are fast.
We don't know. What we do know is
even the competition,
open length victories. So even if the competition isn't great, and you could say, okay, well, he's the big fish in the smaller pond. And listen, winners are winners sometimes. And 8 for 8 this year, 20 for 29 lifetime, coming in here off riding not just wins but dominating wins. I suspect he's the type of horse that I think the U.S. public may be.
And he's got early speed,
yeah,
which is and a lot of ones. People like the ones.
I would say the people that coming to, you're talking about U.S. money with Atlanta. I could see a lot of U.S. money going in Zakon Gio's direction. Hopefully, I'm saying that correctly. Certainly, from what we know on paper, is very logical. Post 5 is a perfect starting post for this 10-horse field going a mile and a quarter. Basically, him in Atlanta, perfect, what you could call mid-pack starting posts. I just have a feeling he'll attract some sort of attention, and he will attract attention on my tickets, but I have a feeling that you're going elsewhere.
Well, also, there's plenty of other contenders. Uza Jocelyn, who's the 4-horse here, is coming off a win out in, I don't even know what track that is. Switzerland? Could that be Switzerland?
He is from Switzerland.
So it looks like he's coming.
The mare.
She's coming off a win out there, and a lot of these horses have raced against each other. Uza Jocelyn has raced against Baha Kiznat, in races in the past. We're going to take a look at Bahia Kiznat's last race, where she's going to finish second here behind Propulsion, who's obviously one of the top horses in Europe.
Propulsion is anyone that follows the sport is going to see the name Propulsion and say, "Oh, okay, that's a good one. That's one of the top European horses." And you see this guy coming up to just miss, got beat ahead. Here's the problem I see with him, with her, I should say. Obviously, over $1 million banked lifetime. I see 1 for 16 this year. I see 1 for 12 last year, 8 for 84 lifetime with a lot of second place finishes, and I see 4 second place finishes in her last 5 starts.
She's a little camera shy.
Is she the camera shy type? And certain horses can smell the wire. Certain horses can't smell the wire. And what will be left, if you wager on her, will you be left scratching your head saying, geez,
well, here's the other
how
thing.
come she just came in just short?
Here's the other thing. We don't know how these horses are going to ship and how they're going to handle the shipping. I mean, we're talking about traveling a long distance. Some horses do it really well. Some horses don't. Maybe she comes here and she loves the, beautiful, fresh, Yonkers Raceway air, that beautiful city air. Maybe she likes it.
They have a nice infield with nice grass for grazing, and I know some of these horses train on the turf. So from a betting standpoint, and we are here basically to talk about, I guess, give some sort of betting insight. Obviously, a little more difficult than what we're accustomed to. Do we head in the direction of familiarity? The U.S. source Atlanta. Mary Marauder, who was invited to this year's International, I guess based on his $3 million in the bank and his past experience over the track, but he's certainly been a disappointment coming off a 6 scratch.
It'd be hard to play Mariano.
How about Cruzella de Noche? What was he, 30-1 or 29-1?
I don't see any reason why, if he's sitting up there at 15-1 on the board, you can't take a shot here. I mean, this is a race where the connections all year long have been saying we're aiming for the mile and a quarter distance at Yonkers. We think that's his best game. Why he's in the U.S. if his best game is a mile and a quarter is beyond me.
He is considered I believe he's considered a Swedish horse.
But he's been in the U.S. for a year and a half. I'm going with him as a U.S. horse. He's trained by a U.S. trainer, driven by a U.S. driver. He's stabled in the U.S. He's U.S. as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
but they've been aiming for this spot all year long. So I got to assume he's going to be live and ready to go. I think he's a horse you have to put on your ticket.
It's funny. Last year, I was just telling somebody, a friend of mine a couple of days ago, last year, I handicapped this race. I did all my analysis. I put all my bets in. And literally about 2 minutes before the race was starting, I went back and I put a couple bucks on Cruzella de Noche to win, just saying, you know what? I just have a feeling, and Brian Sears, and he knows the track, and he's always in the right spot, right place at the right time. And basically, I was almost humorously rewarded to a certain extent to cover all my other losses in my international betting debacle. But you know what? He hasn't done a heck of a lot this year, only 7 starts, only 1 win. But you know what? People didn't know what to make of him last year, and he wins. This year, people do know what to make of him. I don't see any reason why he can't be included on the tickets.
Didn't I pick him last year? I think I picked him last
You
year.
might have had him in the money somewhere. I believe I had him third or fourth.
Well, I don't know. Who do you like this year?
I'll take the credit for it.
Why don't we move on to
I'm
the
going to go
picks?
with a familiarity angle. And I'm going to go with Atlanta. 4-year-old mare. I've mentioned a million times that the mares racing against boys and trot races don't bother me at all. I know she worked out over the Yonkers track this past week. Reportedly trained very well. Perfect post. Giwner has plenty of tactical options, obviously. And like you were mentioning, it's not like she is listed as a morning line favorite, but I mean, one or two of these European horses are going to pop up with plenty of money, and the wise guy type horses, and it won't be that bad of a price, especially on the win end. Horse we didn't even mention, another U.S. horse, Guardian Angel Oz, has been $665,000 almost in the bank. One of the top tier trotters, I guess you could say, but I don't know where he's going from the second tier, and he's shown some breaks in big races at Yonkers, which kind of makes me nervous. He broke in his last Yonkers start. He broke in the Sire Stakes final, the Yonkers Trot. So obviously he's more mature, but I don't know if you're including him on your tickets at all anywhere. But I'm going to go with Atlanta. I'm going to use the Zakon Geo based on the speed and good posts aspect. Slide So Easy, a horse that raced last year. We're getting Oki Svanstedt. I guess you could call it a catch drive. I think he's kind of interesting, although it might be a notch below some of these, at least in the amount of money he's been racing for. Bahia Quesnot underneath only. I think you might be going with him on top, though, taking a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot with Bahia Quesnot. I mean, the way I look at this race is that there's a lot of early speed in this race, or at least a lot of horses that I think are going to be trying for the lead and going to be a part of it. Slide So Easy, Uza Jocelyn, Zakangio.
How about Lionel from the 8 post?
Lionel perhaps from the 8 hole. And even Lanta. I mean,
trip.
anyone who thinks Yannick Gingras is going to sit patiently in 6th on the rail in $1 million race here with the horse that could be the best horse is kind of insane, I think. So I think there's a lot of pace here to be chased, and I think this horse has a shot to come from off the pace. I still need a price. I would probably say I need at least 6 to 1. You know, if I can't get at least 6 to 1, it's not worth it. But at 6 to 1 or better, I would take a shot there. I also think Cruzado de Noche has a chance here. I mean, I think there's enough early speed to set him up. I think this is the race they want to win. If I'm looking at 15 to 1 on the board with him, I would take a shot there too. But there's a lot of ways you can go. This is the kind of race where I want to see them come out on the track. I want to see them warm up. I want to see what they look like, and and see what the odds board is, and then I'll make my final decisions.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at. If I'm forced to make a selection, I'm looking at Atlanta on top. Looking maybe an exacta box, a 3-horse box. I'm going to use that Zakon Geo horse that we spoke about in profile. It just has the winning resume and a perfect mid-pad post. And I'm going to use Cruzado de Noche. Like you said, he prepped perfectly with that qualifier. I'm sure he's going to be 150% ready to go. Post 7 doesn't scare me. Brian Sears will be able to work out some sort of trip. How about a 3-horse exacta box? Those 3. Maybe Slide So Easy. I kind of like the Oki Svanstedt. Maybe, like I said, quote, catch drive angle.
Matt wants
At least
a
you have a regular
6-horse
driver.
exacta box.
No. Well, first of all, there's 10 horses in the
He
field.
wants a 3-horse exacta box and then a key with 3 other horses, and then we'll throw in the 4th horse and the 5th horse.
Okay, and so basically what you're telling all of our viewers is I'm going to wait till they come out on the track and make my decision.
No, I made a pick.
Post.
I made a selection. We'll see what happens.
All right, what else do you like on the card? We have the Dan Rooney Invitational, and we have the Harry Harvey Invitational Trot. Also on the card, part of a 10,000 guaranteed pick 5 that starts in the International Trot. So I'll put you on the spot.
You put me on the spot. I like Jimmy Freight in the Dan Rooney from the rail. I feel like that's like the spot he's been waiting for. I think he should gun out of there, take charge. It's not a 10-horse field; it's only an 8-horse field. I think should be pretty good. And I lean slightly towards Mission Accepted in the Harry Harvey. Give out your quick selections, then we got to go.
Okay, Mission Accepted, I agree with you. Jimmy Freight, I agree with you. Atlanta, when I'm forced to pick a horse on top, she will be on top. Like I mentioned, it's a pick 5, 10,000 guaranteed pool that starts with the International Trot and includes those other 2 stakes races and also 2 other mile-and-a-quarter commingled races. So it should be an interesting day. 1 o'clock post at Yonkers on Saturday.
1 o'clock post, Saturday at Yonkers. Good luck.